Hi, I'm Pro Greg. I've got a question here from Nell. Now it says, how does a person maintain silence if approached by someone or blamed for something you've never done? I tried remaining silent, not explaining my innocence, so as not to stir up anger, and was told that I was being impolite for not responding. Nell's question comes in response to a Dharma talk that I posted the other day, where I was talking about how to deal with vindictive people. And I was basically saying we can try and avoid these people, or we can remain silent. We don't need to respond to them. But this doesn't always work. And as we can see from the question, blame is being apportioned to somebody who is being quite innocent, and they've attempted the non-response, and that's been viewed as rudeness. So we can see that sometimes we may have to speak out in our defence. We're not going to let people walk all over us. And so if somebody comes and they make false accusations against you, then you may need to respond. Let's face it, nobody wants to lose their job, for instance. So if your boss comes and starts saying, you caused this, you did that, and you haven't done these things, then if you wish to keep your job, you're going to have to say something. The important thing here is not so much what you say, but it's how you say it. If you respond angrily, then people are just going to believe that you are responsible for what it is that they say you've done. There's a couple of ways that you can respond. First thing you can do is you can question. Where did you get this idea from, that I'm responsible for this action? It's quite possible then that we discover somebody else has shifted the blame onto us. So then all we need to do is find a way to prove our innocence. Perhaps at the time something happened, you were elsewhere, and somebody can alibi that. This is all you need to do then. You don't need to run around getting angry with the person who originally blamed you. You don't need to run around getting angry with the person who is now bringing that accusation to you. So the other thing you can do is you can question, do you really believe I would do a thing like that? Answer their question with a question. This is something that we saw the Buddha was very good at doing. The Buddha used to respond in one of three ways. He would remain silent. He would counter the question with a question, or he would give a straight answer. As I say, the important thing is how we're going to deal with it. As I say, if we get angry, then we've already lost the battle. If we can remain calm, choose our words carefully, take time to think about your response. Remember when I was a little kid, and it was quite obvious that I was going to lose my temper, my mother used to tell me, take a deep breath and count to 10. Of course it never worked, because I just spent that 10 seconds allowing myself to get angrier, and so it just wasn't very successful. But the logic behind it is simple. Don't respond immediately. It's when we respond immediately that we're not thinking clearly. Somebody says something about us, they accuse us of something, and without even taking the time to see the emotions that arise inside of our minds, we react. And we react violently. Not necessarily through bodily violence, but through verbal violence. And so we need to stop, take a moment or two. If we're aware that anger is already rising to the surface, and we take a couple of more moments before we make our response to the person. So it's true now that you can't always remain silent. The silence often is misconstrued as rudeness. It's also often taken as a sign of guilt. But then again, the opposite also takes place. If you do respond, often people say, well, if you need to defend yourself, you must be guilty. That's a very difficult situation. The important thing is, if somebody's making accusations against you, if somebody's being vindictive towards you, how you respond is the important thing. Don't become vindictive. Don't become bitter. Be truthful. You know the truth. And that's the main thing. And the people around you, they will also know the truth by your actions, by your speech, by the way you think. These people will know whether or not the accusations being made against you are true or false. So, yeah, maybe you do need to speak out occasionally, but please, speak with patience, speak with love, speak thoughtfully. Okay? I hope that answers your question now.